This is another opportunity for me to continue to stake my claim to say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still working toward that title. I still believe a UFC title fight is in my future. I got a lot of tread left on the tires, and a win over Paddy Pimblett proves that I'm not here to just take these cherry-picked top 5 guys to protect my ranking. I'm throwing everything on the line April 12th.
If he gets the job done, Paddy Pimblett could potentially skip that line and go all the way to the front and potentially be the next title challenger.
It's a tricky one. I think this is a tough matchup for Paddy Pimblett, though. Having someone so aggressive, explosive, his grappling is going to be hard I can't see him out-grappling Chandler early.
UFC 314 is just around the corner, and the fans can't wait for the highly anticipated co-main event where Paddy Pimblett takes on former UFC title challenger Michael Chandler in a 5-round lightweight clash. This event will take place on April 12th at Kaseya Center in Miami. Michael Chandler is excited for this fight as he loves to fight in Miami. The other reason for his excitement is Paddy Pimblett, a young, energetic fighter looking to make his name in UFC. So after fighting the big names for so many years, the 38-year-old wants to show he still has the desire to fight, and he will prove it against Paddy.
I'm excited to compete in Miami. I went to the Miami card last year. Huge crowd. Everybody was into it. It was a great card. The UFC loves Miami. I love Miami. Obviously, I'm here training in South Florida, a little bit north of Miami. So it'll be a nice, easy trip down there and fighting Paddy Pimblett. So I get an opportunity to go out there and fight a young, hungry up-and-comer. I fought nothing but contenders thus far in the UFC. Now it's time to try my hat at a guy who's trying to make his name and come into the top 10.
Chandler admitted that he is not bothered to face anyone, whether it's a new fighter or a champion. His main focus is always just on winning the fight. He is always ready to fight, and that's the reason he managed to survive so many years in this sport.
What is the mindset when that happens? Because you've had title fights, you've had big name fighters, you went toe-to-toe with them all, and now, like you said, it's a different kind of fighter coming in. Does the mindset change at all, training and getting ready for the fight?
Not really, I mean, I've always been the kind of guy who's like, hey, in front of me, I got 2 arms and 2 legs. I got a torso, and there's a head. All of them are targets, and all of them are dangerous weapons, right? So it's just doing what I've been doing for the last 24 years of hand-to-hand combat since I was 14 years old. And the mindset doesn't change. I mean, obviously, it's a co-main event in Miami, big card. And it's awesome. I get these great opportunities, man. It's always fun. The UFC puts on a great show.
Michael Chandler said he likes Paddy Pimblett's personality, but that doesn't mean he will go easy on him. The American fighter said that being a professional fighter, he has to fight, and he will make sure to give his best performance on April 12th in Miami.
And I've been vocal about it. I like Paddy Pimblett. I like his brand. I like what he does. He seems like a decent guy, but what we do for a living is fight in a cage, right? So just because I respect the guy, like the guy, doesn't mean I'm not going to go out there and absolutely try to separate him from consciousness in the middle of the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida on April 12th. So it's going to be fun.
On the other hand, Paddy Pimblett is aiming for a title shot, and he believes that Michael Chandler is a stepping stone to his goal of fighting for the belt. His confidence level is so high that he thinks he will not need to see the judges' scorecards. The Englishman has confidently predicted a win via a knockout or even a technical knockout. Paddy Pimblett predicts on ESPN MMA, I think I could knock him out. I also think I could TKO him with leg kicks, but I don't think he is going to try to take me down. He knows I will submit him. Meanwhile, Michael Chandler is looking to do his best at UFC 314 to beat Paddy, but that doesn't mean that he is disrespectful towards his opponent. Chandler has great respect for Paddy, and he acknowledges his skills and achievements in such a short UFC career. He knows that it's a big fight for Paddy, as a win here will prove to be the key to entering the top 10 lightweight rankings. However, Chandler won't take a step back, as he needs a good comeback to get closer to a title fight.
I've got a ton of respect for Paddy. Respect for what he has done, respect for the rise that he has had thus far, the brand, the platform that he has built. I believe he's never fought anybody like me. I believe I fought who's who, the Mount Rushmore of lightweights, first ballot Hall of Famers, and this is a fight. This is a defining fight for him, a defining fight for me to prove that I'm still one of the best lightweights on the planet, and an opportunity for him to see if he can crack into the top 10. So we'll see what happens.
Michael Chandler praised the character Paddy Pimblett and admitted that he has a chance to emerge as a potential contender for the belt. Chandler was impressed with the style and skills of Paddy, but he admits that he doesn't have any insecurity from those fighters who are doing a great job in the lightweight division. Michael Chandler said, "He is a great man, and Paddy and I have been in contact a little bit. You know, he is a guy who is in that perfect kind of position where I am the guy, I am going to be the champion here in the next 12 months. He is going to be nipping at my heels, coming into the top 15, coming into the top 10, but I don't have a scarcity of mindset when it comes to other guys in my division, especially when I see guys who are doing it the right way, in my opinion." Iron Michael Chandler further expressed his thoughts about the Paddy Pimblett fight and his opponent. According to Chandler, Paddy is a great guy and is both a remarkable person and a fighter. He thinks Paddy is the complete package, but it would be interesting to see how he manages to shut down his haters and continue his exceptional form at UFC 314. Michael Chandler added, "You know, he is a remarkable guy, he is a happy guy, he is a fun guy, he is fun to watch, he is fun on the microphone, he is the total package, and people can hate on him all they want, but really they are just being haters because Paddy Pimblett is the total package. What can you put together inside the octagon within the bells and continue to keep winning? We'll see." Michael Chandler also revealed his plans after beating Paddy Pimblett. First of all, Chandler wants to win at UFC 314, and after that, he will shift his target toward the belt. The American fighter wants to fight the champ Islam Makhachev and claim the lightweight title. The veteran lightweight fighter is also very confident about smashing Paddy Pimblett, as he has predicted a first-round knockout against him. He is excited for this fight, and he believes he can knock out his opponent in the initial round to get the job done very quickly.
You know, I've already visualized knocking out Paddy Pimblett. A couple of the call-outs, a couple of things I'm going to say.
First round
would be great. I think I'm going to put a pressure and a pace and a presence on him that he's never felt before. Now, we'll see if does he sink or he swims. I think just because there's been an absence of strength of schedule in his career thus far doesn't mean there's a presence of cowardice. You know, he could be tougher than we think he is. We'll find out. But April 12th, Miami, Florida, UFC 314, we do find out if he sinks or swims. But knock him out first round. Go out there, rip off a crazy promo draped in the stars and the bars. Hopefully President Trump is cage side.
Paddy is also aware of Michael Chandler's intentions, but he is ready for all challenges. He knows Chandler will come hard against him, but the English fighter is ready for many kinds of challenges, and he is preparing himself for such tactics. He is confident to submit Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett said, "You know, he is explosive. He is going to come in and try and take me head off, and that's what we are preparing for. We are ready for it, and I don't think he is going to shoot any takedowns because he knows I will submit him." Furthermore, Henry Cejudo thinks that Paddy Pimblett might become a strong contender for the title shot if he beats Michael Chandler at UFC 314. However, Kamaru Usman doesn't agree with him, as he said beating Chandler doesn't guarantee a title shot. Usman said that with the presence of Arman, Topuria, Oliveira, and Gaethje, it's not possible for Paddy to fight Islam Makhachev after just beating number 7 ranked Michael Chandler.
If he gets the job done, Paddy Pimblett could potentially skip that line and go all the way to the front and potentially be the next title challenger. What do you think, man? Am I crazy, Kush?
Whoa. No. I think you are a little, that's a little far-fetched. If Paddy Pimblett gets past Michael Chandler, that does not warrant a title shot. When Charles Oliveira has gotten past Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje has gotten past Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier has gotten past Michael Chandler, that does not warrant a title shot. Those are just 3 names right there. And then you've also got Arman Tsarukyan. You've also, let's not forget, Ilya El Matador Topuria.
The American fighter Beneil Dariush has also shared his thoughts about the Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler fight. Beneil Dariush gives the Englishman Pimblett the ground advantage over Iron Mike Chandler at UFC 314. The American lightweight fighter sees Chandler as Pimblett's perfect ticket to enter the top 10 rankings of UFC. Beneil Dariush said, "I think for Paddy, it's perfect. You could be a fan of Chandler, whatever. You have to admit he's 2-4 in the UFC. Just being honest, I don't think he's on his way to the top. He's on a downward slope, so it's a perfect time for Paddy to kind of meet him there. And I think Paddy has a very good chance of beating him. Dariush was also surprised by Michael Chandler's last fight, where he lost to Charles Oliveira in their rematch at UFC 309. The American fighter was taken down 5 times and controlled for almost 15 minutes before resulting in a unanimous decision loss. Dariush continued, Charles was able to get a lot of takedowns on Chandler, which I'm being honest with you, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought maybe 1 or 2 takedowns, but to be able to take him down every round, that was very surprising to me. So I think Paddy has a great chance. I think the fight will play out a lot standing, but if Paddy gauges in the grappling, he'll actually have lots of success. Dariush showed his concerns about the lack of wrestling skills in Chandler's fight. He feels age might be the factor that is affecting Chandler's fight. According to Dariush, Paddy is the favorite to win, as he has the bigger chance to beat Chandler and move one more step forward towards the lightweight belt. Beneil Dariush said, for whatever reason, Chandler is wrestling less than he used to, and wrestling isn't like striking where you could just hit some mitts and be back in shape for it. Wrestling, you gotta drill, and it's ugly, and it's hard. As you get older, it becomes harder and harder to do that. He's not wrestling as much, and that gives a really big opportunity for Paddy to win that fight. Alexander Volkanovski also believes this fight will be a close one, as it's hard to predict a clear winner. Volkanovski admitted both are great fighters, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. The former featherweight champion is excited to see how Paddy will tackle the explosive style of Chandler, especially in the final rounds.
And Pimblet, interesting one, man. Like it's a hard one to pick. Hard one to pick because Chandler is so dangerous, explosive, right? You know he's going to come guns blazing. You know, can Paddy Pimblet fight that right fight? I think in them later rounds, you know, Paddy Pimblet can maybe, because he showed against Green, he showed a lot more composure and strategy, which I thought was great, which he will need. So it's a tricky one because who's a favourite in this one? I think I've seen that. What, Paddy Pimblet was a favourite, maybe?
Yeah, I think Paddy might be the favourite.
Yeah, something like that.
Alexander Volkanovski said this is a tough fight for Paddy Pimblet, but he thinks the Englishman has the skills to submit Michael Chandler at UFC 314. Volkanovski further explained how the fight would go depending on the number of rounds. The host thought this would be a 3-round encounter, but the UFC has officially announced this fight as a 5-round co-main event.
It's a tricky one. I think this is a tough matchup for Paddy Pimblet, though. Having someone so aggressive, explosive, you know, his grappling is going to be hard to you know, I can't see him out grappling Chandler early. Later on, maybe getting positions and maybe look for submissions and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting one. Is it 5 rounds? That's what I want to know.
I think 3 rounds. 3 rounds.
See, 3 rounds. That's a tricky one.
That's a hard
5 rounds. I'm picking. Hey,
that's a harder one for Paddy because
exactly 5 rounds. 5 rounds. 5 rounds. I would have been like, oh yeah, Paddy's could look better for him in them later rounds, but 3 rounds makes it difficult. Tricky one, but fun. I think it's gonna be fun. Chandler fights are always fun.
Yeah.
The featherweight fighter David Onama backs Michael Chandler to register a victory at UFC 314. The Ugandan professional fighter also admits that Paddy Pimblet can't be underestimated as well, but he believes Michael Chandler will get the job done on April 12th.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Chandler.
Okay. Yeah.
For some reason, Chandler's gonna pull it off.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, it's fair. Yeah.
Count out Paddy too. You know, like Paddy, you can't count him out. You know, like, yeah, he talks a lot, but he'll always back it up. Oh, damn.
You going with Chandler?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Chandler.
Meanwhile, Patricio Pitbull Freire is not backing his former rival Michael Chandler to get his hand raised at UFC 314. Patricio Freire has picked Paddy Pimblet to win the fight against Chandler. In May 2019, Patricio dethroned Mike Chandler to become Bellator lightweight champion by first-round TKO. Patricio Freire said, "It looks like Paddy Pimblet is in the better moment of his career, and he's going to win that fight. I know he's very confident, and I think he's going to win the fight." After a successful MMA career, Patricio Freire is all set to make his octagon debut at UFC 314, where he will face the former interim featherweight champion Yair Rodriguez. Right now, Chandler is not interested in reigniting his feud with Patricio, but Pitbull has a different opinion as he is ready to fight again. Freire said when asked about fighting Chandler again, "Yes, I can do that many times." Tom Aspinall shared how he got disappointed watching Michael Chandler live. Aspinall used to like the style of Chandler, but he stopped rating him after watching his live performance against Charles Oliveira. Aspinall was definitely not impressed with the way Chandler approached that fight.
I was there for Charles Oliveira and Mike Chandler.
Yeah.
And I got to watch him. I got the pleasure of watching them both up close.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, watching it on the TV and watching it when you're 10 feet away is two completely different things. And I watched Chandler, and granted, Chandler had been out the octagon a little while at the time, I think a couple of years or whatever, so he might have been a bit rusty, and he was fighting Charles Oliveira, who's one of the greats at the weight division. But I didn't rate him, to be honest. I thought he looked off.
Although Aspinall was not impressed with Chandler's performance at UFC 309, he still backed the American fighter to roar back soon.
I thought, yeah, he wasn't great. He wasn't as good as I thought he was watching him on the TV. And I think
he had been out for a bit of time.
He had, definitely. Love watching him fight, obviously. If you're not a Michael Chandler fan, like, you're probably not going to enjoy MMA because he just goes for it.
Former Bellator welterweight champion Rory McDonald shares his valuable prediction for Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. The Canadian fighter highlighted the points where Paddy could target to win and shared what could be the deciding factor in the fight. Rory McDonald said, "It's a good fight, totally different styles. I think early on maybe Michael, but if Paddy can weather the storm of the explosivity and the high pace that Michael sets, I think he can maybe stay in there with maybe his grappling and weather the storm there." Rory McDonald also shared his thoughts about the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria for the lightweight title. He thinks that the former UFC featherweight champion can knock out Islam Makhachev in their upcoming fight. Rory McDonald stated, "Probably Topuria, knockout. I think Topuria has good enough grappling to handle himself and keep the fight where he would want." So this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about Chandler versus Pimblett in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get instant notifications about our latest videos.